Hello, welcome to BQ Prime. You're watching IPO Adda, and my guest today on IPO Adda is Landmark Cars Limited. It's a dealership which handles a lot of premium OEMs like Honda, also Volkswagen, Jeep, Renault, and it's an agency for Mercedes-Benz in India. And joining me is Mr. Sanjay Thakker, who is the chairman, and Aryaman Thakker, who is the ED of the company. Gentlemen, thank you very much for joining us on BQ Prime. Your IPO is coming on December 13th. Price between 481 to 506 with a fresh issue of 150 crores and OFS of 402 crores. Let me take the first question with respect to how are you going to use the proceeds?
Thanks for having us on your show. And as we kickstart this process, it is a proud moment for us that we will be the first dealership chain in India to go public. And as India becomes the third largest auto market, it is imperative that we have professionally run companies, we have organized capital to get into personal mobility, and as the country progresses, there is a need. There has been a vacuum so far in organized retail in auto, and that is something that that is what we will be filling. The proceeds of the IPO will be used to repay our working capital loans, and that will take us towards a much healthier balance sheet.
Sanjay, you have a chain of dealerships, primarily for the high-end cars, premium cars, I would say. Recently, you moved away from dealership of Mercedes to agency model. What was the reason for that?
So it's a win-win situation, and this is what Mercedes-Benz has been doing across the world slowly, gradually. India was amongst the pilot projects, and it gives complete amount of transparency in the buying experience to the customer. There has been a one India, one price, and that is why the sales are through the roof. We have a waiting period, which as per the company's communication last week, they are sitting on around 7,000 back orders. The company, Mercedes-Benz, is going to have the best ever year in India. So there has never been a better time for being in the luxury car segment, and we are extremely excited. This actually gives better returns to the franchise partners, to the OEs, and a great amount of transparency to the customer.
Okay, let me come to the basic question so that people understand how you recognize your revenues. Is it on a gross sales basis, or is it the net profit or commissions that you get after sales?
So as far as all other brands that we represent are concerned, which is Jeep, Honda, Volkswagen, Renault, Ashok Leyland, BYD, it's on a gross basis. We buy on a principal-to-principal basis from the OEs, and then sell it after adding our margin to the end customer. But for Mercedes-Benz, it's a little different. We just spoke about the new model which has got introduced from 1st October 2022. This is 1st October 2021. And this is something where we only recognize the commission that we get from the company. The turnover has been taken out of our books from that day, which is like a year back. So it's not an apple-to-apple comparison. And as far as the after-sales business is concerned, whatever we bill to the customer is what we recognize as our revenue. And that obviously is a very stable and a predictable annuity type of a business that we have been building. As soon as you put cars on road, you really build several years of income stream, which is predictable and good.
So on a net income basis, what could be the kind of revenue that you have for all these brands?
So for the year end of 2022 March, it is just under 3,000 crores, which includes the sale of vehicles of Mercedes-Benz for 6 months, the commission that we got from the Mercedes operations for 6 months, and the entire value chain as far as the other brands are concerned, as far as the sales as well as the after sales. So that's what we are talking about.
So what is the kind of margin that you have on all other OEMs, excluding Mercedes, because Mercedes has now moved into agency commission. So, and what is the kind of agency commission rate that you have there?
So on a blended basis, we are trending at a decent EBITDA margin of upwards of 6 crores, 6%. And even for the quarter that ended in June, that has crept up to around 6.6% EBITDA margin. And so our business comprises of the money that we make out of the sales, which includes the insurance and the finance commission and the accessory sales. And then there is a after sales business, which is we just spoke about that it is a very predictable and a high margin business. Now that's a nearly 18% EBITDA business that we are talking about. So we have a situation currently and hopefully for a length of time where we will have a good amount of tailwinds after a long time, I would say, where the car sales are very good, the discounts are practically non-existent in the market. The after-sales business, we have enough car park to now support it. So it's a great cocktail finally, which is growing, and we are very very excited with where with the position we are in today in 2022, and we'll be doing much better in the years to come.
Aryaman, give me a sense of how you are using digital and tech platform to augment sales. What percentage of your sales are coming currently from these platforms?
Sure. So a couple of years back, I think Group Landmark Cars, especially during COVID, we came up with our own digital platform, which caters to all the brands that we represent. And especially during COVID and post that, we are seeing a healthy growth of customers who are coming there, browsing for the cars, and even making some sort of a small booking deposit online. Post COVID, our focus and on digital has gone up substantially. Most customers who come in already have done a fair amount of research online before kind of walking into the showroom and making a decision. So our website, and we also now have a AI-powered chatbot which enables sales and after-sales inquiries of all Landmark customers for all our brands.
Sanjay, give me a sense of the inventory that you carry across brands. What is the total value of inventory that you carry, and how do you manage that? Because my understanding is, and please correct me, you have to pay upfront to the companies and carry inventory on your books. So what is the kind of cost of carrying those inventory, and how do you manage that?
So as far as Mercedes-Benz is concerned, there is now the inventory has been taken off our books from 1st October 2021. So that's a great development which has happened, which has taken the biggest brand that we have and the most expensive cars that we have off the books. Also to understand is that we need to carry in our inventory, we also count the demo cars. Now demo cars are the test drive cars that are needed for business when every customer wants to see the drive the vehicles, the different variants. So we are including that in our inventory. So that needs to be kept in mind. It is not necessarily the inventory to sell. Talking about brands, we need to pay upfront. There have been instances in the past, and I'm sure it will happen in the future, where we also get a supplier credit from the OEs, where some amount of interest-free period is given to us. On a number basis, the inventory fluctuates based on the seasonality. We build up inventory just before the festive season, so we are able to cater to the demand during that time, and during the lean period that goes down gradually. So one can say that the inventory levels hover around 250 to 300 crore rupees. Including the demo cars and including the spare parts that we carry. That's the inventory that we carry.
And what is the number of days of inventory that you carry in terms of cars across some of the brands?
So as I said, it varies. But in a typical thing, what happens is that, including the demo cards that we talk about, it would be just under 40 days, which includes the new cars as well as the demo cars. So demo cars is a static number. The new cars depends on the seasonality, demand and supply, and the new launches. That's where it is.
So, you moved from a dealership to agency business for Mercedes, and that will help you reduce your working capital requirement as well. Have you looked at a similar model for other OEMs as well?
In India, so far, nobody has made the thing. I think it was a very radical move which Mercedes-Benz did. A lot of OEs have been watching this very closely about whether there would be a customer acceptance and how seamlessly this model would work. So, because it is working in such a good fashion, it didn't even have that much teething trouble as what everybody, including me, thought. I'm sure that the other guys will follow suit because it saves them the margin, the cost of distribution. It saves us the hassle of holding the inventory and then getting into the discounts game if the situation doesn't turn out to be good. And as far as the customer is concerned, it helps them because it gives them transparency. So if you were to go to a luxury store or an Apple store, for example, you do not haggle. Then why should that haggling be only there for a car buying experience? Really, I don't see why it should not happen.
Interesting, because if that happens in the future, then that helps you shore up your margins as well, because your finance cost comes down by a significant amount.
Completely agree.
Okay. Your major concentration is in Maharashtra and Gujarat, I think accounting for nearly 70-73% of your total revenues, if I'm not wrong.
I would say that it is Gujarat, Mumbai mainly, and NCR. Those are the large regions for us. It's not only two, it's the three. We are present in 8 states. We have more than 30 cities where we are geographically present. As a policy, what we do is that we go deep with a OE and we go deep in a geography. Now, going deep with an OE means that we are the largest partners for Mercedes-Benz, for Honda, for Volkswagen, for Jeep in India. And the other brands that we have taken, BYD, I'm sure we will at some point become their largest partners once the volumes are out. And we go deep in a geography. Now, going deep in a geography means that we are able to share our lot of senior management bandwidth. We are able to share infrastructure. And this is something which is a unique proposition for Landmark. And not too many people are able to do this.
So, tell me one thing, because, in India, brands are very cautious of going to multi-brand dealerships. We've seen that, experiment being done and it's not working. You have to have single brand dealerships which are there so that you cater to it. But at the back end, when you do after sales service, is it possible for you to have an integrated infrastructure for managing all kind of brands at the back end?
That is what I'm saying. So the buying experience, every brand would want to have their CI or customer experience, which is unique. But people are getting open to this. You said multi-brand. World over, people have been doing multiple brands and successfully at that. And there have been a lot of listed players in USA, in China, in even South America and Europe. And it's actually a surprise to me that why it has taken so long for India to have something like this. So it's an idea whose time has come. It's actually overdue. And the people will, I think the economies of scale will come with groups holding multi-brands and a much larger franchise. And this is where we are stepping in.
No, I get the part of the group holding multi-brands, but I'm talking from a distribution point of sale. Whether the point of sale can be multi-brand as well.
Yeah, so not the way you could kind of see it in a departmental store, I would think, but with some amount of physical segregation and different manpower, it can be done. There are a lot of OEs who are happy to share, for example, the accident repair workshop, what we call the BB shop. So those kind of infrastructure which are not customer facing, but which look like a production line, they need to be standardized. We need to have bigger and better infrastructure which can be shared. And I believe that the OEs are really open to this. The talks that I've had with them makes me quite confident that it is a matter of a very short time when this will be accepted and allowed.
What is the kind of expansion strategy that you have? You said Gujarat, Mumbai, and NCR region is where you have mainly present. How do you plan to expand your footprint?
So we started with Gujarat and we have now grown to 8 states. Nearly 30% of what we are today, the number of outlets have been acquired outlets. So we positively look at acquisitions which could be agnostic to geography. We have kind of proved beyond doubt that the business model, the management bandwidth that we have is capable of taking it in any kind of geography. We are in Kolkata, we are in Punjab, we are in diverse states of India. And I'm sure that in the period now and going ahead, we will go to different geographies and make our mark there.
Will it be organic or will it be inorganic?
It will be both. It will be both. It's difficult to kind of put a number to it at this point, which I'm sure you will understand what I'm allowed to or not allowed to talk about. But so this is where we are, and I'm sure in time to come there is a huge amount of runway. This is just the beginning. This is a stepping stone, and it will give us huge amount of dry powder. It will give a lot of possibilities that will open up after this.
How do you plan to augment your working capital? Because you're going to use 120 crores to reduce your current borrowings, which are around, I think, if I'm not wrong, 351 odd crores, which is there. But you still be sitting on more than 200 crores of current borrowings. And as you expand and as the sales grow, you will need to have more inventory in place. So how do you manage that?
So my sense is that we will be also generating a very big amount of surplus cash every year. Because the capacities have been all put in place, and it is the operating leverage that is being made out now. So our showrooms and workshops are capable of handling much higher volumes. For the workshops, we typically still work at single shift. The showrooms that we have seen volumes of much higher numbers earlier. So once the volumes increase, we will not need any further investment in CapEx, and the surplus cash that we will be generating year on year will reduce our working capital debt, and I'm sure that in the years to come it will not become a meaningful number for us.
Mm-hmm. You said the blended margins are roughly around more than 6%. I think if I'm not wrong, 6.4% for first quarter. It's gone up from 5.9% in FY22. Can you give me a breakup of what is the kind of margins that you get for workshop or after sales service, and what is the kind of margin that you get for direct sales?
So the workshop business comprises of our sale of spare parts and the labor income that we generate, and the blended. So there is a blended margin that we are reporting, and we will continue to report. So that is around an 18% EBITDA margin is what is generated. And as far as the car sales is concerned, which include the insurance and the finance income and the accessories sale to some extent over there, the margins are in the region of around 3.5%. It can improve if the sales keep on going up without much discount. And that's how we are getting the blended margin.
How do you see PV sales going through? We've seen it's gone up to pre-COVID levels, but do you see good traction coming in PV? Because if you look at an overall auto industry, there is some concern about two-wheelers not picking up that much, and CV is just picking up, and PV is something which has gone to pre-COVID levels.
So let's step back and see where India stands today. And if we are to become the third largest economy in the world at some point in time, which I'm sure we will, the number of vehicles sold is still less than 4 million. Now, I remember reading a report 6-7 years back where the base case scenario that was that by 2020 or 21, we will be at 5 million vehicles. We haven't reached anywhere close to that. So, and the ownership of vehicles, personal cars, is still 2%. Now, this 2% is dismal. Really, we have a long runway. If we believe that India is going to progress, then premium cars will sell. We believe that this is a beginning of a bull run, which is happening, and we will have a sustained growth for several decades. Now, that's our belief, and that's why, as a family, we will continue to hold majority stake even after the IPO. We are not meaningful sellers here. We believe that we have a long runway and we are able to create that wealth for ourselves.
I just wanted to check from the point of view of how sales have been in the last 6 months. You have given only Q1 results. Q2 numbers are not out, and we saw the festive season going by. So, what is the kind of trend that you saw in the last 4 or 5 months?
So the good part about our industry is that the passenger car sales figures are published first of every subsequent month. So for anybody to understand what sales has happened for A brand or B brand is very easy. And we are the largest partner. So for them to extrapolate what likely sale we would have done is also as easy. What I can also say is that generally the first quarter is the softest quarter for the industry as a whole. Now, the festive season all comes in the third quarter. The March comes in, obviously, the fourth quarter, January. So generally, the industry works as the year goes by, it gets only better. That's how it works.
Aryaman, come in here. Do you see going forward, you will be able to integrate and make a marketplace kind of platform for sales of all your branded sales through your tech initiatives?
I think yes. I think at Landmark there is a big push which is happening on the new initiatives or how to leverage world-class technologies, and that's why we have created close to a 35-member team. We have a chief digital officer who has joined us some time back from Mahindra. I believe this would be the first designation of this in the auto retail space in India. And that is what we are working on as to how is it that we can see what is best globally in this industry and use it in the Indian context.
And you see a good traction coming in here as well?
Yes, we are making, I think, good inroads into this. How can we actually manage the customer life cycle better? How can we leverage data-driven insights, better revenue enhancement possibilities? I think those are some of the initiatives that we have already taken at Landmark, and we will continue to push in this direction. I think, and be the industry leaders here.
Sanjay, my final question. You are the first dealer to get listed on the exchanges. There might not be any comparison for your dealership among the listed space. How do you value your company?
I mean, it is invaluable. That's what I can say.
That's true. It's very invaluable for every owner. But in the market, how do you do it?
Yeah, so that's for the bankers to kind of answer. I don't think I should get into that space. They have spoken to marquee investors and who have kind of jointly come up with the value that we have had. And we believe that this is a mix of different things, I believe. We are into retail, luxury, some kind of a predictable annuity kind of a business for after sales. So it's a mix of a lot of things, and with the tailwinds and the experience of some listed peers in America and China in the times when they were getting into a sustained growth phase. I think that's what people have looked at, and that's how I think they will value us for a period of time.
Sanjay and Aryaman, thank you very much for joining us today on IPO Adda. Landmark Cars IPO opens on December 13th and closes on 15th. Price between 481 to 506. Issue size of 552 crores, which includes OFS of 402 crores. Thank you for watching IPO Adda.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you very much.